Not that I don't like Glenn Danzig. I think he's kind of a.
Oh, mother!
Welcome once again to Chill Filter, the podcast where we drink whiskey so you don't have to, but you probably should. You probably are, and that's why we like you. On this week's episode, we're doing a long-awaited distillery that I can't wait to try.
Yeah.
Or have. I've had it before, and I liked it, and I'm ready to have it again. We'll talk more about that a little bit later. But in the meantime, hit us up on Instagram at Chill Filtered, and we'd love to talk to you. Or if you want to support the show monetarily, hit us up on patreon.com/chillfiltered, and you can get in on some awesome tiers. The awesomest tier, though, is that of a lonely man.
Deep.
I don't know what that. No, the best tier, the best thing to get into is the $10 tier. You can join us on our monthly drink alongs, which Cole does a fabulous job orchestrating. So if that's enough of the business, speaking of the fabulous orchestrator, Cole, how you doing?
Pretty good.
Yeah.
It is the weekend.
I'm about to have some fun.
Yeah, I am excited that it's been a long week of work, and I'm sort of glad to have a little break. And next week I'm working Monday, but then I have Tuesday through Friday off where I'm flying to Phoenix with Heather and Beck. And we're going to be in the wedding for Marco and AZ. So,
oh boy.
I'm excited for that. Yeah. Should be
love
good.
Weddings.
Yeah, no, it's and it'll be good seeing like a bunch of old friends.
Yeah.
It's hard when we've been in Richmond now for like almost 10 months or maybe 10 months at this point. And there's just something to, we developed some good friendships out in Arizona after 3 years there. And so
you're good at making friends.
Yeah, not anymore, apparently.
Well,
it's hard, man.
With the kid, is that what you think?
What's that?
Because like the kid and stuff?
I don't know. I mean, no, I just think like the older I get, the harder it is to make friends. Which makes sense in a way.
That is true.
But yeah, I'm excited to see some old folks. And so there's this one place in Phoenix, and I probably mentioned it at least once on the podcast, but it's called Salad and Go. And it's a salad restaurant that's like drive-through only, and it's super cheap and super delicious and fills you right up every time you buy a salad. It's like $6 for a filling salad with chicken, and their drinks are $1 for like a 24-ounce fresh squeezed lemonade, or even like if you're into it, you can get a $1 cold brew coffee.
Oh
yeah, so they just kill it, and they're expanding like crazy. I just wish they would expand to Virginia. So I vowed that when I return, I will eat at least 3 Salad and Go meals while I'm there, and I'm very excited to take part in that. As well as the wedding's going to be amazing. I mean, that just goes without saying. So I'm very excited. And,
I will say, there is something to a really good salad.
Yeah,
like it hits different. Like a salad that fills you up, it's healthy, and it tastes great. It's great.
They check all the boxes, especially the taste great part. Like I didn't even like salads until I started trying Salad and Go, and I'm like, man, I could eat that. And I would eat there at least 2 to 3 times a week, typically when I was in Arizona.
It sounds like they really are trying to cash in on their fiber content, though.
Maybe.
Salad and Go.
Yeah, and you're gonna go no. But they had like, oh man, they had like jalapeno ranch, and they had this killer Caesar in the fall.
At
that
2,
was like,
Brute.
Yeah, exactly. Deep. That's deep, man.
That's a killer Caesar.
Yeah, exactly. And they had a Cobb salad that was to be reckoned with. They used to have an antipasto that was amazing, but I think they got rid of it at one point. But Salad and Go, if you're in either Phoenix, and they've expanded to Dallas, and I want to say like somewhere else in Texas, not Fort Worth. I mean, I think they've Dallas-Fort Worth area, but I think somewhere else in Texas, like El Paso or something, has also gotten it. So they're killing it. They're exploding, and they pay their workers $15 an hour minimum. And They said that like some of their employees have like gotten to like a $120K salaries after like 3 or 4 years working there, because they've like moved up so quickly, because it's this explosive growth company. So if they were like public stock, I would totally invest my money in them, because they are killing it in the salad game, killing it. So yeah, but otherwise, yeah, that'll be. I'm really excited about next week. Like, it's nice. Like I said, work's been a little busy, but it's not going to be that big a deal to take 4 days off next week. So it'll be nice to have some time off. And yeah, just yeah, I'm looking forward to the weather too. In Phoenix, now I do have things to say, but in Phoenix, the weather's gonna be killer. So it's like the perfect time to be in Phoenix is like early mid-October. So
it's like 85.
Probably 90 high, maybe 95 high, but it's like dry out there, so it's not even that big a deal.
Yeah, you're ready for some less humidity.
Yeah, I saw a really funny bumper sticker yesterday, and this is totally up my alley of humor. No, yeah.
Okay.
But I was like, I got to tell Heather about this. I got to remember to tell Heather about this. And it's really not. I mean, like, some people are not going to find it that funny, but I thought it was hilarious. I was laughing out loud to myself in my car.
Let's hear it.
But it says, "Honk if you honk." I was like, that's amazing, because I honk.
I'm a honker. Chelsea always tells me not to honk at people, but I'll do like friendly beeps. I'll like
I do the tap, like the
tap
punch,
like,
where it's like
beep,
beep.
You're not paying attention.
Yeah, exactly.
And if I get cut off though, I do like to lay on the horn.
My Audi though doesn't allow the tap. So I either got to go full force or nothing, which stinks, because I sometimes just want to give the like, hey, light's green and it's been 3 seconds.
Yeah, it's got to be a polite beep beep. Yeah, beep. I used to when I was in high school. I had a '75 Volkswagen Beetle.
Nice.
And the horn on it would not work when you pushed it. However, it would work whenever it felt like it, and you never knew when it was going to turn off.
That happened to me once. I had a 2001 BMW 3 Series. And every now and then,
I had a Volkswagen Beetle, so it's pretty similar.
No, but like those years of BMW 3 Series were known to have a lot of electrical, like fuse issues, and just electrical issues in general. So one time I'm just driving down Woodman Road in Colorado Springs, and my horn just starts blaring, and I can't turn it off. So I have to like pull over to the side of the road, turn off the car, remove the fuse, and just leave the fuse out, because it just would not go away. And I was like, I am so sorry, everyone. Yeah. But how are you doing?
That's acceptable, because like people know, like if your car's like, yeah,
it's not
they
your
know
fault.
something's going on.
It's not their fault. Yeah.
My bug would be like, so it sounds like
that's funny.
I'm like just interpretive horning my way through the city.
You're like having a jam session on your horn.
Yeah,
that's funny.
I'm good.
Yeah, how are you doing?
I'm good. I'm realizing I took a sip of I got a little bit of Buffalo Trace here, and then I also have a little lemonade Rockstar here, and I'm noticing like I got the mustache is just the perfect point to be annoying with liquids,
like when you eat yogurt and it's all I'll tell you this though, yogurt always gets on the mustache no matter what, no matter how short your stash is.
No, how am I doing
this morning?
I am doing great. Can I tell you something? My wife surprised me. She got me something, and I don't know if you recognize the significance of this, Cole, but it makes me very happy. And
nice. I do recognize the significance of that, or at least that is a band that you can get behind.
Oh, well,
so for those who aren't watching on YouTube, Robbie is wearing a classy Danzig t-shirt.
Oh yeah, bought for me by my children's mother. Yeah, I was pretty excited. She
tell your children not to walk my way. And Chelsea's like, no, you better walk in a good way, Robbie, because our children are going to follow you.
Yeah. I love that song.
What they say.
I will add that song to any and every playlist if possible. Yeah. Not that I don't like Glenn Danzig. I think he's kind of a mother! I'm about to see your life. If you want to heck with me. I say heck. Oh, Cole said hell. Oh, I said hell.
No, I thought it was hands.
Is it hands?
I want to bind hands with me. That's what I thought he said.
Maybe, man.
Maybe it's both. I think it's two separate verses, actually.
Reach out and touch me. Anyway, maybe I don't know the lyrics as well. I could be wrong.
Doesn't hurt.
But anyway, so I was pretty excited. She gave that to me, and I'm like, oh, it's
Nice.
just in time for spooky season. So
Yeah.
so I was excited. So I wore it to school today. And then I was like, oh, that's kind of like conservative Christians might be like, why is he wearing that shirt? Like,
yeah,
it's
like a
kind of
satanic
scary.
shirt.
It kind of
Wait, you can wear T-shirts to your work?
Oh yeah, on Friday, bro.
Oh, nice.
It's a Friday. We had staff
Did
pictures
any
today,
parents?
too.
Do you hear anything later from the parents?
No, but we had staff pictures today. I knew my staff shirt was in my room, so I put that on and I just wore that. Which it's like a khaki shirt, and it's like we're the Huskies, and the theme is leaders of the pack. So it just says the pack on the back of it, and it's a khaki shirt, and it looks like we're UPS drivers, like in
nice.
It's pretty rough.
I remember I went to your school one time many
Mhm.
moons ago, and I saw a picture of you, and you were like teacher of the year or something like that,
Yes.
and you had a huge beard.
Yes,
That was
teacher of
great.
the year. That was great.
Yeah.
I loved
How
it.
many years
ago was it?
No, how many years have you been teacher of the year?
Just one. No one has ever
Aw.
had it twice in our building, so I'm
Oh,
hoping,
good. Well,
I'm
at
hoping
least
to be
you're
around
in the
long enough.
lead, tied for the lead.
Yes, I am tied for the lead. What do you got there? What is that?
Up Old Rock, a Virginia cidery in Wintergreen area, or also known as what's the city? I forget.
That's probably a good choice.
Nelliesford.
That's probably a good choice.
Great. Yeah,
because
their cider is killer.
Here's the deal. This is going to be a part 1 of 2 kind of things. Where our hope is we're going to record 2 shorter episodes today, so we will be drinking a little bit extra by the end of the next episode,
and then we'll have plenty to talk about the second episode.
Oh man, yeah,
when we're liquored up.
Oh yeah, So you went maybe smarter with. I mean, the bubbles might go to your head.
No. I've also had half an ounce to an ounce of the Nulu pick that we drank for the drink along last weekend.
Nice.
So I'm probably going to be liquored up decently.
You're going to be greasing it by the end of the episode.
I'm going to be greasing it. Yeah.
Well, you know what? Like we're gonna, I feel like it's a good point.
Yeah.
Ready? Should we switch?
Yeah.
Should we take a walk?
We have some good history coming up, but before we get to history, let's take a walk. And we're back.
We are.
Chill filtered time. This is episode 222.
Yeah, it is.
That's a lot of twos. And that's a lot of episodes.
That reminds me of the salad and go.
Yeah.
All them twos.
Twos the twosies. Number twosies. Speaking of number
twosies. A quick twosie. You know what that's from?
No, what's that?
A quick twosie. My friend Adam Berg, that was his gamer tag for a while, and it's from Scrubs. Oh, I'm going to go take a quick twosie.
Oh, I love Scrubs.
It is good.
Eagle. Anyway. So yeah, quick shout out before we get into the history to our friend, and baller, Ben Klepsig. This baller is a true baller, and that he is for sending us samples of what we're drinking today, the Westland Garryana edition number 5. So let's talk about that a little bit. So this is definitely our first Westland product we've had on the podcast, though we have at least one other sample on deck on our shelves. And recently, I've never actually had Westland, but it's cool to hear you did in the intro.
Yes, I have.
But I know they've been gaining a great reputation in the American single malt world. So let's talk about the distillery first. So one thing I loved when researching Westland Distillery was their transparency on everything they make. Nothing is super secret. They even get into details on their website of the type of mill they use, to the type of grain, to how their mash tun was constructed, to their exact water source. But Westland was started in 2010. And it took them around 3 years to have their first release. And you know what that means? it means they weren't sourcing. And sourcing isn't always a bad thing. We've talked about this. In fact, most of the time it's a great thing. But when you don't source, you're putting together something of your own that likely no one else can compare to, even in the single malt world.
Nothing compares to you.
Often, people can think, how can something with basically 4 ingredients, and those 4 ingredients are water, barley, yeast, and oak, aging, how can they be so different, one single malt to the next? And that's what blows my mind, to be honest. We've tasted so many single malts on this podcast, and they're all different. Just think about how different Glen Grant was from Aberlour Abuna, or Paul John was from Amrut, or how different Del Bach was from Ardbeg. A ton of single malts that are so different. There are so many factors that affect single malt whiskey, and few know that better than the guys at Westland Distillery. Started by a Matt Hoffman and an Emerson Lamb.
BMX pro biker Matt Hoffman?
Maybe, potentially. You never know. Is he from the Pacific Northwest?
No, he's not.
Oh,
I think he's
probably
like
not him.
Philadelphia-ish. He's the East Coast, but East Coast is a mystery.
Yeah, it's a mystery.
I don't know where anything is.
They set out to make a quality single malt whiskey in the Pacific Northwest, and they are meticulous. And here's an example of how intricate they are in making something that's not so simple. They have at least 3 core, or they have 3 core whiskeys. They have the American oak, the peated American single malt whiskey, and the sherry oak. But for their peated core whiskey, they have 6 different barley malts in it and 3 different cask types. I didn't even know there were so many types of barley, to be honest. And there's a ton of stuff. I
barely knew how many there were.
Barley, I barely know.
Newly.
Yeah.
Newly remodeled.
There's a ton of stuff that I can cover with Westland, but luckily we do have future episodes that we can cover more. But let's talk about what is special about what we're drinking today. The Garryana. Westland Garryana. And Garryana is a reference to Quercus Garryana, the Latin species name that of what is called Garry oak. Have you ever seen a Garry oak, Robbie?
I've never seen Gary's oak.
Well, I bet you have, because Gary's wood is pretty big on the Pacific Northwest.
Is it?
So it's a type of oak tree that is only grown in the Pacific Northwest. It's very different than your standard oak, and apparently it's more stiff and brittle, but still worthy of becoming a barrel. It's not exactly prevalent in the whiskey world because there's not a lot of it, especially where whiskey is made in general. And Westland
Garry Oak is also the name of a Pokemon character, so I got to be more specific in my Google
You're
search.
right. I forgot. He's like it's 2 R's if you're looking it up. So Garry Oak. Maybe it's Garry. Okay. Who knows? But it makes me think of Garryana. Makes me think of Gary, Indiana, where Michael Jackson's from. Anyway,
Garryana makes me think of "To a Trench, the Mariana." Little Pixies for you.
Nice. Pixies action. Here comes your man. Where did I leave off? Yeah, there's not a lot of Garry oak in the whiskey world because, typically it's just in the Pacific Northwest. And Westland is very careful to protect the species by only selecting Garry oak that has fallen on its own, like has fallen down. They don't chop down trees for their barrels, which I thought was cool. They also make it a point to plant Garry oaks.
And I got to get up.
With a company called Forterra to restore more and more of the trees to the Pacific Northwest. You were saying?
I want to say it does well in arid areas as well, because what I'm looking up, it looks like what I would consider like a tree you see on a farm. Around where I'm at in the Tri-Cities too. So.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Tri-Cities?
Kennewick, Richland, and Washington.
No, I thought you were saying where you're at.
No, and Tri-Cities
where you grew up. Where did you grow up again?
Kennewick, Washington.
Okay, cool. Yeah. Nice. I like
it. Actually, if you ask my wife, she'll say I never grew up.
She would say that.
Anyway. She often says, I have 4 children.
Yeah.
Oops.
That's
Hopefully she means me.
Sorry,
as the
you tricked you into marrying me.
I did. I pulled a fast one on her.
Yeah. Hey, that's how you got to get women like Heather and Chelsea. Anyway,
I outkicked my coverage.
Apparently, it imparts a notable flavor difference on the whiskey, and they will often do secondary fills in the Garryana barrels because there's plenty to go around with each barrel. So let's talk about what we're drinking today. We're drinking the 5th edition, not the 6th edition, the 5th edition. It is part of Westland's Outpost range. Others in their range, there's their core range and then there's their Outpost range. They might have other ranges too, but this is their, not their standard releases. Others in that range are the Solemn and Colere releases, which the Solemn is a project that seeks to find a new process for peating whiskey. Colere, or it might be Collier, is aiming to explore even more unused varieties of barley, at least in the whiskey world. So there's apparently a ton of varieties of barley. And I'm like, what? I thought there was like barley. Anyway, I knew there was probably at least 2 different kinds, but there's a lot.
Well, there's we did Floki. And they have, isn't it a barley that they did that with?
Yeah, they did it with
and it was like
like Icelandic barley. Yeah,
it was like one of the only that's the it was such a hearty one.
Yeah, it was hearty. That's right.
I remembered something for once.
Yeah, and I didn't for once. No,
I Dr. Mindbendered myself, and I did it.
You did it. Yeah, you remembered John Hughes's middle name too.
I did. Do you know who Dr. Mindbender is, Cole?
No. I bet Bryce Burita does.
I bet most of our listeners do because he was not King Cobra? Is that his name? The leader of the Cobra? He was the actual guy with the metal head in G.I. Joe.
Oh, I was leaning towards Mortal Kombat by the end of it, so.
Yeah. Cobra Commander. Cobra Commander was in the charge, and Dr. Mindbender was his second in charge, but he was the brains in the operation.
I gotcha. I dig brains. We're drinking, like I said, edition number 5. And since this, there has been one more release recently. There was the 6th edition that came out. The 6th edition has multiple barrels involved, besides the Garry Oak barrel, 5 in total. But the 5th edition only uses 2 types of barrels. There's first fill ex-bourbon, and then there is virgin Garryana oak. 36% of the aging was done in the Garry Oak for this edition we're drinking today, and then 64% was standard ex-bourbon barrels. 100% malted barley, specifically Washington Select Pale Malt and Baird's Heavily Peated Malt. So it's got a little peat, so expect some smoke. Cut to 100 proof for the bottling. There was only 5,625 bottles produced in this batch, and it was aged 45 months. Total wine price about $160. So let's crack this open. Thanks again to the baller named Ben Klepsig. Yours is much better.
I didn't want to bring this up, Cole, but I feel kind of called to the carpet here. I think my ding dings are better than yours.
Yeah, your ding ding is way longer than mine.
That's because I flick it twice and hold it at the base. Oh boy,
reminds me of the what is it called? The Good Charlotte song. Shake it once.
It reminds me of that old, I can't remember what it was, kick him in the ding ding.
And you know what he did? Kicked him in the penis.
Oh, geez, Cole.
You ever seen that video on YouTube? It's like a insurance commercial, and it's this young kid. It's explaining this kung fu movie he was watching, and then he finishes with that, and he's like, he was injured bad. It was so good. I'll have to send it to you.
Good of the best part. Actually, here's a toast. Here's to feeling good all the time.
Bing. What's that from?
It's Kramer. I was watching.
Oh yeah. as he chugs his beer with his cigarette.
I was thinking that'd be kind of a fun Halloween costume this year. I might try. I might do that.
Oh, Kramer.
The sweater with the circle glasses. Yeah. And like I've got like enough wispy old man hair. It'll all stand up. Like,
oh, that's great.
Up.
I should
not like Kramerish.
But you got to trim your beard.
Oh, I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
All right. Pete shows up for sure.
Nice bit. Nothing.
Oh, you're not getting it?
I'm getting a little bit. These master world of
bulbous glass holes,
professional glasses. Yeah, the bulbous glass holes. They really bring the nose, which is good. You want that sometimes. Yeah, so Pete is half there. It's definitely there, but it's not like front and center on the nose.
I'm getting like Pete in the forefront. Like, ooh. And there's like a sweetness there, like appley, maybe pear. I don't know, but it's like Pete and sweet, which was me and my best friend's nicknames in high school.
Nice. Who were you?
Sweet. I was sweet. He was Pete. Yeah. Interesting on the palate for sure. I'm gonna go for a second sip on the palate.
So, the smoke on this reminds me. If it were to remind me of a Scotch, it would be like Highland Park. So Highland Park has a little bit of peat, but not like too much. It's kind of like hints of peat. This, yeah, you're right. It goes from peat to sweet, and then it's good. It's very good. Comparing it, honestly, like, in the single malt world, I'm comparing this a little bit to Del Bach. And Del Bach's well-roundedness of the peat, or, mesquite in this case, the smokiness is a little better. This is good, though. It's got a nice sweetness. It's got a nice peat. I got to go for another sip. I want to define this a little more.
So I'm getting it's not a strong smoky peatiness, but it is a present, and that's my main note I'm getting for sure. What was the proof on this again?
100.
Okay, wow. It feels a little lower proof than that.
Yeah,
it's light on the palate. Low viscosity for sure. I'm excited to see what ice does with this.
I'm excited to see that too.
Yeah,
I'm a little worried too. There's potential it could go bad.
It could. Ice has been ruining things lately.
Yeah.
But I like this. It's like it's just kind of mid-range peat for me. That's what I'm getting. Not super heavy, but it's pleasant. This is like it's light, and I think a lot of times with like a peat, like a lot of Scotch, like a peated Scotch, it's a lot heavier. This would be kind of like your dessert Scotch.
Yeah,
it's very.
One thing I'll say. I think I said this, but it was aged for 45 months, so it's less than 4-year-old. And in the single malt department, that can be pretty young sometimes. I'm getting a little bit of lightness on the oak, and by that I don't mean like a light oak. I mean like a floral fruitiness that is oaky as well at the finish that I don't love, but I can overlook it for sure.
Okay.
I still I think the best part about this is the sweet peat mix at the front of the palate so far. So I'm going to add some water.
I'm looking for my water right now. Oi. So I guess
oi.
Oi to the world. So I'm pretty excited this week.
No doubt. Once again. What's
on
that?
Monday night, we're taking Amara to her first
your churches?
Your second concert. But first, concert she's excited for. Yeah, churches. We're going to go see churches on Monday night. So I'm excited for that.
They do the Mother We Share, right?
I think so.
Okay, cool.
That sounds...
So speaking of concerts and music and stuff, last week, actually, was it this week? No, it was last week. Did I mention that I saw Jimmy Eat World last week?
You messaged us. You did not mention it on the podcast because when I saw it on the group me, I was like, "Oh, you didn't say that." I felt
they
like honestly
were amazing.
I gotta tell you, Cole, I had a moment of betrayal where it's like, "You didn't tell me that." Chelsea knew before I did.
No.
I know the Seabalt's better.
No,
yeah,
I forgot. No,
but
it was
good show.
Always good seeing Jimmy Eat World.
How big was the venue?
Throw down. It was like the perfect size venue, and it was really nice. And the drunk girls in front of us kind of kept it together instead of being annoying. And and yeah, they just jammed. Like
Oh my
that's the
gosh.
thing is like Jim Adkins, like he'll sweat his shirt off in 3 songs and just like keep going, you know.
He's got a
He just
condition.
goes all out. He might. He's from Arizona, so
So nose with the water so far, much sweeter, less Peter. Oh gosh.
that was my nickname in college.
I didn't even realize what I said. Oh, it's but it's less sweet, or it's more sweet. There's less of a peat on the nose.
Peter.
On the nose. I'm liking it. It's a little more fruity, and then I like where you went with the first with it neat, where you have a little more florally. So the floor, it's not. I won't say it's super floral, but it's on that like how it like a pear can be on the floral spectrum.
Yeah.
Like a pear blossom. I don't know if that's a thing.
Yeah, it's totally pear blossoms. I like it better with a little water. I think that note that I was talking about, that kind of like finishing note that was like too floral, a little bit of oaky in a bad way to me, it's gone now with a little few drops of water. So I'm digging this more. I think the balance of the peat and sweet takes over at this point. So I'm loving this. Yeah, even more.
I like it with water better too. It's like and like I appreciated the neat. It was you know it's what you kind of want when you get like a peated whiskey. A lot of smokiness, but with a little bit of water, it's like it's more. There's more going on. It's not. I'm getting more notes.
I agree.
It's more florally. It's sweeter. Proofage wise, it feels a little bit hotter. Yeah, I think a little water's the way to go with it so far. Yeah, lingers forever. Like it's good.
Yeah,
I'm happy with it. All right.
I didn't mention any nose notes with the water. A little bit more fruity, pears and apples. Good split of both. Not too peary. Normally with lighter single malts, you can get pears a lot. I'm getting more apples, or I'm getting about half and half apples and pears here. So
yeah, I'm like fruit wise. I'm not gonna. I've said pears, but it's definitely not straight pear. Like it's a lighter sweetness, and it's like to me an apple. Whoa, an apple is
wrapped in ice,
like a denser sweetness to it. This is not as dense. It's like just it's a lighter sweetness.
My tongue is burning. But I don't think it's from the whiskey. I think my tongue is a little sensitive right now. Fire in the hole. It's colder. Ooh, really good nose. Honey, citrus, and tiny bit of peat, but honey and citrus are taking over.
Okay, so this is this is a hubbit of what? Hoop, and the reason is you. Hoobit of what?
Hoobastank to what?
This is the first time where it feels like nose wise it got thicker. Like it is richer. And in my nose. It got thicker in my nose.
When you put it in your nose,
it got thicker. No, it's got a. It's. I don't even know how to explain. I don't even know. Like it's just, like it's sweeter, like a little more honey-ish. I don't know. For whatever reason, it just fills my nose cavities better.
Yeah, it's the best nose in my opinion so far.
I think I like neat better, but this is I'm kind of surprised by how it changed with ice. This is the first whiskey where I feel like it's gone that direction. That being said, I also kind of think I might have had COVID recently because my nose has been a little bit off. Like things have smelled bad to me at times, and I've smelled things differently. I went to a meeting
me with my taste lately.
I went to a meeting where I walk in, and the teacher's room that's in, it always smells like banana bread to me. And I walked in, and I go, "Oh, you mixed it up, bubble gum today." And she goes, "No, it's the same one." And I was like, "Something's wrong with me."
Yeah, you're like, I'm broken.
Yeah.
So I've been feeling the same thing with my taste. A few months ago or whatever, where I took the episode off because I wasn't tasting well. I had this taste in my mouth that was kind of like, to be honest, it tasted like sick phlegm.
Yeah.
Which makes sense when you're sick and you have
Like
phlegm.
phlegm or like sick phlegm.
Sick phlegm. No, that
This
was
phlegm's
my
so
band
sick.
name in college.
Halfway to
Was
Heather was a better
halfway to
choice.
Heather, and then we transitioned to sick phlegm. Yeah.
No.
And that was our first album was titled In the Middle is the Best Part. And Ice is also good. And that was the title of our first album. So
This palette
I
wise,
don't like it better with Ice. Yeah.
I don't like it better. I think water is where it's at.
Mm-hmm.
That being said, it's fruitier and then peatier. Like it's a little more like it goes a little bit denser kind of fruitiness with like where an apple might from the pear. It's still, I'm not getting big notes either direction. It's just that's kind of where it's around.
Yeah.
Huh. Okay. The peat is the smokiness is a little more limited too. It's not quite.
I wish
pronounced.
it were more peaty, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
That was our second album, more peaty, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a little too light with the water. Okay. I mean, with the ice, which makes sense. You know, you're watering it down quite a bit, but didn't enjoy it more than the water.
Okay. I got a rating in mind. Do you got a rating?
Yes.
You do? Okay. Why don't you go first? Oh, you me go. Okay. Pardonnez-moi. Here I go. Okay. I'm going to, I like this. Mm-hmm. It's not something, what was the MSRP?
160.
Ooh. Yeah. That I like this, but I'm not going to pay that much for this.
100%. Yeah.
For sure. I'm going to go 7.9.
Oh, it's funny. That's what I had in mind.
Okay. Because it's good. It is good. Yeah. There's little things to it, like the hubba what on the nose on the ice. Mm-hmm. It's nice light. There's a little bit of like, I don't know exactly what I'm getting, so there's some complexity to it, but overall, it's not what I'm going to reach for, especially for 160.
Yeah, that's my thing as well. Is 7.9. It was close to 8. It was almost just consistently great. I do, like I said, we've mentioned we really like it with a little bit of water. It brought out some nice smokiness. I wish it had a little more potency to the smoke. If it did have any smoke, I wish it were more smoky. And then, but I like the sweetness. I like the peatness, and I love Finley and Juniper yelling in the background.
They just got home.
Oh, that's great. Good for them. I hope they had a great week at school.
And I hope our love of spirits.
And yeah, so I think it's good. I wouldn't spend 160 on it, but I'm very grateful that I've tried it. So.
I'm grateful that Ben Kleps would spend 160 on it and shared it with us.
Hey, and edition number 6 had some really cool barrel finishes. So I might be interested in edition number 6 if anyone has that.
Well, the thing is, like, I'm not turned off.
Yeah.
Right. Like if I see it at another edition at a bar, like I'll give it a shot.
Yeah, for sure. I'm with you.
Yeah.
So, this week we are going to be skipping Whiskey World News, right?
We're skipping this week for Whiskey World News
because it's just been a busy week for us, and next week we're recording 2 episodes today.
Yeah, it works out. So we'll skip Whiskey World News this week to get it a little shorter.
Yep.
But we have what whiskey would you choose? So we'll let's take a break.
Yeah, let's take a
darn break. When we come back,
yeah,
it's time for what whiskey would you choose? Now we're back. It's part of the show that we have complete control over. We wrote them,
control over.
We read them, we talk about them. It's time for what whiskey would you choose? Last week we talked about what's one of your specially dated bottles. And it was hard. When I listened back to the episode, you said one thing. We kind of talked about a different thing. I didn't know how to word it. So hopefully, Cole, I didn't offend you by
it.
All right. So Cole went with straight from the barrel with a Blanton straight from the barrel for an anniversary. I went with regular Blantons for an anniversary. And you can, you don't have to guess which one won. Cole won 64% to 36%. Because you know what? If I were to choose between the two, I'd go for my anniversary bottle.
Yeah.
Straight from the barrel. Anyway.
Oh, some good write-ins.
Had some good write-ins. Brian Rapp, no special dates, but my Armida is bottle 7777.
Nice.
And I thought that was cool. And you know what?
That is cool.
Darn
right.
Cool. That's cool.
That's hard to do.
My mom often would say, Robbie, I think you're cool.
So
for no reason. And I would tell people,
have
my mom thinks I'm cool. And you know what? We think 777 is cool.
My freshman year roommate, shout out to James Rosenquist. Apparently he went to bed every night and his dad would like peep in the door and be like, "Good night, James. You're special."
Thank you, Dad.
Talk about a way to like scar a kid. That would scar me at least. I just like, in what way, Dad?
You're especially ugly.
Yeah, but he's not. He's a good looking man.
Is he good looking? Is he a Patreon?
Not
Patreon
status, good looking.
But he could be good looking if he
he could be if he supported us in that way.
Yeah. Dramhound, he had 2 write-ins here, and I think Cole, you tell me which one you think's better, because I know which one I think is. 4 Roses LE limited edition from the year we were married, or a Blanton's Gold and a newer pick that are dated with Dram Pup's birthday.
Definitely the gold, because it matches the exact date instead of just the exact year. So
yeah, I'm going. Yeah, and plus, friggin' Dram Pup.
What a cutie!
Oh, what a cutie!
Yeah,
patootie.
Yeah,
I think that's
Shout out to Willow.
Shout out to Ellen DeGeneres. I think she always said, oh no, it was Rosie O'Donnell would always call kids cutie patooties.
Shout out to Rosie O'Donnell.
I don't. Thanks for listening, Rosie. Hey, speaking of listeners, guess kind of cool.
Yeah,
we've almost hit this, and this Monday, within a month's time span, we had 930 downloads in 1 month.
Yeah,
we're close to 1,000 mark. 1,000 downloads in a month.
That's almost butt chug status. Just kidding. That's just for Patreon.
But anyway, I thought that was pretty cool. Like,
we've been growing and growing.
My oldest daughter is like, being a YouTube star would be so easy, and
she should find out.
Yeah, she's like, Dad, let me take over your YouTube stuff, and I'll make you a star.
Hey, I'll take it.
But anyway,
work for free.
And then I'll show her like our views on YouTube, and she's like, really?
We're working.
Then I showed her our downloads on. Yeah, I showed her our downloads
podcast
on
front.
Yeah,
podcast
like,
forward.
And she's like,
YouTube.
People actually listen to you guys. I'm like, some people do.
We don't do this just randomly.
We do this for fun. You were about to say we don't do this for fun. We do this. For fun.
We do it for fun. That's for sure.
This will keep going.
As long as we're getting listens, and as long as we're getting whiskey, we'll keep doing episodes.
I think even if we don't have any listeners, you and I,
as long as we have whiskey,
as long as we have whiskey in each other.
Yep, exactly. And our therapy weekly session. So
yeah, there you go. Marco and AZ, I've got nothing to offer, and sad you didn't read last week's because of the recording timing. Oh,
sucks.
And if I was a better person, no, kidding. We do think. And then Matt Town Marketer says, "Should I have one?" And yes, Big Club's like you should. As
maybe
many
you should have Garryana.
You have to come up with something because he's a man of many whiskey talents.
He is.
Anyway, that's that. All right.
I met Ben.
I have not.
And yeah, what a nice guy and great storyteller at Madison Story Slam.
That's cool. Okay, is that where you met him?
Yeah, that's where we originally connected. Yeah, and then when I came back for that boner episode or boner thing, what's that?
Bonus episode. I thought you were going to say bonus episode.
Bonus episode. No, the strong bad. You went in another direction. Story. He was there and he like reached out, and I mean he knew I was coming, so he was like, "I brought you some stuff." So, what a dude! What a guy! What a Wisconsinite!
So this week, Halloween's coming up, and I was thinking about this on my drive home, Cole.
Drive home.
So Halloween's coming up. As a nation, we've kind of moved on past the COVID thing. So you're probably like going to have trick-or-treaters be trick-or-treating.
Trick.
And if you're to give out minis, you're giving out mini bottles. Ooh. What mini bottle are you giving out to fellow whiskey enthusiasts, adults over 21?
Adults over 21.
What are you giving out at your door? I know what I'm giving out.
This one's pretty easy for me.
Okay, go for it.
They make Buffalo Trace in minis, and I love Buffalo Trace.
Oh, gosh.
So I'm gonna hand those out.
Cole says Buffalo Trace one more time.
Yeah.
Big surprise.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
going to go with, I think we get more minis than we get actual bottles of Buffalo Trace. But what I
Really?
can readily get,
Really?
yeah, we do. We get, I mean, there's a lot of minis.
That's
But
great.
what we readily get, which I think is just fine, is I'm going to go Jim Beam minis.
Gin Beam.
Jim Beam minis. That's what I'm handing out.
Nice.
Yeah.
Just standard Jim Beam.
Yep.
Good.
And we'll put that
and
up.
People will be happy. That's a great
I would.
idea to like be like, hey, parent of that
You want
cute
a
little
mini?
kid in that cute little costume.
You look tired.
Jim Beam.
Here you go.
Yeah.
All
Treat
right, man.
yourself. That's
And
a
you know
great
what?
idea. Like if someone treated me to that, I'd be like, dude, this is the greatest trick or treat ever.
Yeah. So you know what? We don't have a Whiskey World News. We don't need to say what are we drinking next week because next week is an executive decision by Cole and I.
Yep. But we'll do it next episode.
So you know what, folks? I hope you're not too disappointed.
Not too disappointed. But I hope that you'll love our next episode, which is gonna be pretty epic.
Because we've had a little bit already. But most of all, listeners, we hope our love of spirits lifted yours. Reach out and touch me.